Morning everyone, and welcome to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'm Nat, this is my Knackers Yard, this is Kermit, my ZX6-R. So where are we? Lots of stuff yesterday on the back, which is now looking awesome, now moving forward. I've whipped the panels and everything else off, did a little bit of prep last night, and I'll show you how that looks in a minute or so. In terms of prepping the new front end, because obviously it's completely dismantled. So what am I going to do today? I'm going to continue searching for the fairing kit, the fairing screws, because I'm buggered if I know where I've put them. And I have searched freaking everywhere. That may end up holding me up, it might not. I do have a standard set that will probably do the job just as well. So what, Nat? What I need to do, or feel the urge to do now, is take off the ram hose stuff and all the air intakes so I can get to the frame, because this needs to be better. I'm also going to whip the tank off. I may end up trying to strip that today. I'll see how it goes. Probably not. But first things first, let's get all this air hose stuff off. Alright, so that's the front end stripped down. Gives me good access to the frame, and I'm going to do that in a second. I just noticed something though. That's the clutch cable, I think, is incorrectly routed because it's in front of the... yeah. So it's pinching it. In fact, there you go. Change gear when you turn left. I'm just going to undo that and route that behind the... fork, that's what I'm looking for, and we'll get that going properly. Right, on the frame I'm going to go for my favourite solution of polishing, I think. So use my mother's polish. That seems to be lasting forever. A cloth disc and an angle grinder. So you really lather it up with the mother's, and then just burn it away with the angle grinder. Right, first things first, so let's sort this clutch cable out before I forget. Right, so I've rerouted that. Entirely sure why anyone would set it up like that. Mind you saying, it only snagged on really hard left, and it did feel like it was just stopping. So it didn't feel like it was particularly catching, so maybe they just didn't notice. Right, so again, I've said it many times on this bike, I am not going for a mirror finish, but it just seems a bit foolish not to give this a bit of a polish while I've got access to it. So I go full left lock. I'm not overly fussed about getting it in all the nooks and crannies, because most of it is covered by fairing anyway, or tank. Right, so a decent dose over the top. Don't need to put gloves on, but it's just really greasy stuff. Angle grinder. And that, my friends, is how simple a process that is. And the results are pretty spectacular. I mean, I could go over that several more times and see if I can get it deeper, but frankly, that ain't the point. Not on this bike anyway. So that is the sort of results you can get. It's got some pits in it, it's not perfect, needs, but if you compare that with that, you can see the difference. Just a little bit of know-how and a tiny bit of elbow grease can actually make. Right, I'm going to do the other side. I'm not going to film it. You've seen me do it. It's nice and simple. So it's Mother's angle grinder with a cloth pad on it, and awesome results. Right, and there we go. That's the other side done as well. Looking pretty amazing, I have to say. Yeah, brilliant tip for really quick and simple results. Look at that, looks pretty awesome. I mean, up close it ain't perfect, but you know, it's a 20-odd-year-old bike. And I will thank Motorcycle Man UK for this. Nick put me onto Mother's and certainly put me onto Belgium alloy. So once you've done it with Mother's and you get that nice shine, it looks great. If you want to keep it, chuck that on the top. It's another polish, but it gives it a little like a waxy layer on the top, so it just keeps the shine longer. Again, just by hand, don't need to do the angle grinder bit with it. Right, so that's that bit done. What else are you going to do now? Get on with putting the fairing on. I will. But there is a lot to do, and it makes sense to do it now rather than try and reach around shiny new fairings. I'm not just delaying to see if I can find my fairings kit, my screw kit, honest. Right, next, pipes. So, they're not too bad, and they are broadly covered by fairing, but I've got free and easy access to them. Why wouldn't I? And again, a simple one. I'm going to chuck on some Harpic and just let that eat in. So Harpic 10X, and let that eat in while I piss around, probably with a front mud guard, or maybe even get some breakfast. Right, so that's the Harpic 10X. I don't remember it being blue, but hey, what I'm doing is just paintbrushing it on. You can use a sponge and get it nice and thick. I've got a bit of cardboard underneath. I'm not sure if you can. No, you can, because I don't really want to get this stuff all over the floor. But it's just whack it on thick as you like, and then we'll see what sort of results it gives us. Again, most of this isn't seen, but it doesn't mean that you don't. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, because you'll know, even if nobody else does. And it's a nice little touch as well if you've got good pipes kicking through. Right. So as thick as you like. Splash it all over. There we go, just washed off. Looks a lot better. It's not perfect, it's not the perfect solution to it, but it's better. That's all that matters really, isn't it? Right, let's see if I can find the bolts and see if I can get this mudguard on. Right, it had to happen. I've got the first bit that don't fit, and it's the mudguard. It's not that it doesn't fit, it's the holes are in the wrong place. So on this bad boy, you've got the main where it's cracked through, which goes on to the main bolt there. In fact, let's just chuck it on. Right, so it's on like that, yeah, and the holes line up. If I compare that to, let's try and get you a little bit set up there. Okay, if I compare that to the replacement, let's try not to get it too dirty. So I've got the hole lining up, which I'm happy with, both sides. The issue that I then have, I'll just put you there so that you can see, yeah, I'll move you across a bit more. The issue that I've then got is the hole there needs to be higher So what? I think what I'm going to do is just try and tack it on, see if it'll work, try and get it in the right position, which I think is probably about that, mark through that hole to see if I can get it to fit. And we're on. We're on and secure. I haven't plastic cuffed it. I don't think it needs it, frankly. That is rock solid. And looking pretty smart. I've chucked the air mount on it. I'm just going to, before I knock off for the day, put those top plates on. Right, so it's on. And those are on. So nice and secure. I hadn't noticed previously because I didn't have the full set. I've just chucked it out the back there actually. Alright. Oh. So that's the original fairing, and the big gap by the nose there is actually like there is a plastic scoop that attaches on, and particularly to that single bolt in the middle there. Obviously the new kit's got it, the original didn't. It confused me while I pulled it together, so it does make sense because it just supports that mass, and presumably that's just going to clip in, so it support that mass really well, because at the moment it's only really hold on by the bolts at the top. Right, I'm rapidly running out of time, so I don't think this is going to be done today, which is a shame. Probably bad for YouTube, probably good for me because it means I should be able to find those fairing bolts at some point. Right, direct comparison of panel to panel. These are walnuts. I do have new ones, so I'm okay for those. It's these rubber pieces that obviously I don't have, doesn't come with the new set. I have bought a rubber grommet set, so what I'm going to do now is just see if I can find stuff what will fit. You know, what's it there for? Well, obviously these are push throughs, but actually I just think without them it's just going to rattle like a bastard. Now when Dave had his fairing on, I used to get some real bad fairing buzz, and that's exactly what it is. It's just vibrating at the high pitch and turnover of the engine. It's an arseache, so you want to do everything you can to get rid of it. So I'm going to go around and see if I can squeeze grommets into each one of those panels. Right, and we are getting there. Side panels on, bottom scoop on. I tell I've been going for way too long because the missus has given me the cold shoulder and my battery's run out on my microphone, so definitely been going too long. Right, I need to get that light into the fairing and then get that on. Let's work on that. And there we go, the end result. It's taken a lot of time, but the kit's on and it's looking good, if you ignore the tank. Oh, sorry for the shaky handwork. I'm on a different camera, the other one's died because I've been doing this for so long. That looks cool as you like. Oh, so verdict on the kits. It needed some controlling to get it on, but actually it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I had a little bit of an issue. One of my fake tabs has snapped, which probably going to need rectifying at some point. Still sounds good. Tank next. But no, happy with that. It's just taken a lot more than I thought. Cheers all, I'll catch you later.